excited about day one. Of course, way ahead of where we were. I've made the comment and we'll tell you that and then take questions. But, I think this team and the guys that were on the bowl team, they're probably going to be mad at me. But, I think this team right now beats the bowl team by 14 points. And that's just the amount of guys we have coming back, and then just the off season that Lance and the strength staff had with our guys. So really excited. So with that, I'll open up with any questions.
Joey, what is the update latest on Kosai's status?
Right now, we're still waiting. He has not put himself in a situation to where he would rule himself ineligible. We're waiting. We've turned everything in. They are looking at it. They're in the process of looking at it. We're kind of like with Henry Teeter. We're trying to get him another year. And he's here. He was at practice, but he's working out. And if we can't get another year, then he's going to go try to make a team in the NFL. And if we can get him another year, then he'll be ready to roll.
You mentioned the offensive line looks different, and I know you kind of reshuffled a little
yeah.
bit. Where are different guys playing?
So we switched. We moved Caleb back to right tackle. Feel like he's more natural there. Has a lot more confidence. Monroe Mills, actually, like when you see him in his stance, he looks totally different from the right side to the left side. And so we've just switched those guys. Cole Spencer's back. He's playing at left guard. We've got Rusty Stats at center, so that moves Dennis to right guard. So our guys that went out with the first group today were left tackle Mills, Cole Spencer, Rusty Stats, Dennis Wilburn, and Caleb Rogers. And then you turn around, like Jacoby played so much at guard. We have him playing at left guard. We want to make sure that Cole's all the way back, but Jacoby could play right or left guard. And but if you look at that group, you had Keeler, who started multiple games for us. Jacoby started multiple games. Sheridan is playing at center. He's the one that hasn't started. If Landon was back, right now it's Seth Martin, but Landon started for us at right guard, and then Ty Buchanan started against TCU at right tackle. So I think one of our weaker points last year was up front. I think it's going to go from a weak point to one of our strengths on this team.
Coach, what are you trying to see, I guess, from the younger DBs? I know you're so experienced there in that first group, but I guess after that you got a lot of younger guys. What are you trying to see from them as the spring progresses on?
Just how much they can handle. We defensively, we have a lot of defense, and we've had 8 football schools, so we've had 8 different installs, and then we started back over today with install 1. So, with BJ and Jordan, and Chapman, we're really like, how they learn, how they comprehend, and then, at the end, taking it out on the field, how fast they could play. Nate, we needed Nate on offense last year. He's moving back to defense. I love Nate because he could play safety and corner. Cam Watts missed most of the year last year, and he's back. He's playing safety and corner. And so with the younger guys and then guys that don't have as much experience, we're trying to create depth and then also see how much they can handle still playing at a really fast pace.
Josiah switched to the position that Krishan played?
Yeah, we moved it was really, Krishan. I always get whenever the 2 Ks, Krishan and Kosai. We moved, that's where he was. Whenever we got here, we needed him at outside backer. Picking up Steve Linton, the way Isaac Smith finished the year, we were able to move him back. He was really excited about that, and so he's playing Mike linebacker. So the guys like today, really the 4 core linebackers, it was Matthews, Ben Roberts, who's had a absolute phenomenal off season. It was Josiah, and it was Ty Kana. So those were the 4 interior linebackers.
So what group are you most excited to see when you kind of get things going?
When we put the pads on, I want to see the progression in the O-line. There hasn't been a team that's won the Big 12 that hasn't. There's only been one team that's won the Big 12, and I think it was Coach Stoops, either first or second year at OU, that hadn't rushed for 2,000 yards. And so if every year, you're rushing for 2,000 yards and you have to win the Big 12. We were very close. We ended up rushing for over 2,000 yards once we got to the bowl game. But, we've got to do a better job up front, protecting the quarterback, but also being able to run the football. So I'm excited to see those guys. And then we've got some young D linemen. We added Quincy Ledette, but we've got Cofield, its own campus that's really I'm so happy that he graduated early. His body looks totally different than whenever he came in. Duda Banks is, this is the year, like with Duda, and he knows it. Like, this is the time where he played in the bowl game, played 25 reps in the bowl game and had a good bowl game. It's time for the light to really come on and him play at a high level.
Coach, you said a lot of times last year that the best teams in this conference are the oldest teams. Now that you guys have that experience, you're getting Cole Spencer back, Rusty Stott's in here. What's it like having those veteran guys to lead on that, especially going into year 2 for you?
Well, we talk all the time about being a pro, and it's easier for older guys to understand that. We just got through with our first practice. We're going to have tight hamstrings. We're in good shape, but, whenever it's different off season and then coming out here and having a practice. And so just the recovery that they'll do from now until we practice again. It's good to have old guys. You've got bigger, like if you go across the board, just our offensive line are just so much bigger, and they're grown men, and they have a better understanding, and then you're going to play faster. You're going to play faster on both sides of the ball, just having an older, more experienced group, I think you can make adjustments faster. They understand more football.
And then you mentioned the rushing stat that you just put out there too, with Taj probably taking on obviously a lot more of a workload this year. What are you most excited about him?
He's a guy that he's an every down back. He's got really good hands, does a great job, very physical. One of the better running backs I've been around on third down about picking up blitzes because he's very physical. Excited about him, but really excited about having a healthy Cam Valdez. He's flashed once he was healthy. The TCU game, you saw it in the bowl game. I think we got a really, really good 1-2 punch, and then we saw against West Virginia last year what Bryson Donnell can do, and he's 220 pounds right now, and so looks good. But Taj is the leader in that room. How he goes is how we'll go whenever it's running the football.
Coach, you mentioned Steve Linden. What was that recruitment process like? What have you seen from him so far this season?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, he is an absolute freak. He came in. I think the heaviest he played was 217 pounds. He bounces like between 228 and 230 right now. Still looks like he can carry weight. We're about to have, so Tim DeRuyter is going to have, in the second year in a row, a #1 draft pick. This defense, if you want to play and you want to rush the passer, or if you want to play in a pro-style defense when you're talking about edge players, then you come play for Tim DeRuyter. And that's the thing for Steve. He's so athletic. He's such a great kid, and our guys that were on campus, and Tyree talked to him, and it was like, if you want to change your trajectory in football, come play for Coach DeRuyter. You're going to see the same thing with Miles Cole. Miles had an absolute great day today. He had a really good bowl game. I think the plays that he did make has created a lot more self-confidence. That was the one thing that we really got to build with him. But when you're talking about the edge guys that we have, you're talking about 6'5". It was funny. I saw Tyree stand up, in the combine, and Miles Cole has longer arms than Tyree. Miles Cole's 6'5.5", 280 pounds. Tyree's 6'6", but Miles Cole has longer arms. And so I think you're going to see a guy that's all he does between him and Steve, and then the other guys that we have. That's going to be a strong position for us.
It's time for about 2 or 3 more.
As the first beginning of practice begins, you're not going to be using some of your senior players, giving more an opportunity for some of these 19 new freshmen and transfers to shine. Who are you looking at to make an impact this year?
I think C.J. Baskerville. I think he's taken over for a DB that led the nation in tackles for losses, and Marquise Waters. So I think he'll make an impact. I think that position it will really fit him. He's a long, very physical kid, has played a lot of football, you know, and very, very smart kid. He and Marquise are a lot alike whenever it comes to being able to coach. They're very high level. They understand football. So I'm excited about him. The growth of the two DBs that came back, you know, they'll get a lot of reps because that's one of the main reasons they came back, is to kind of improve some of the things that they can work on. And then, man, our receiving core, you know, especially the two guys that have probably been the most productive in Bradley and Miles Price. I mean, those two guys, I think they'll really get after it. You know, it's funny you say that, because like I have Boog on a different practice schedule once we get into pads than a lot of people. You know, if Tony could go, he'd be the same way. If Rusty and Cole had played last year for us, they would have kind of been the same way. But like, you know, Boog, a lot of times he'll get Indy, he'll get pass rush that he needs to work on. But like our 9-on-7 to where it's going to be, you know, inside run, I don't need to see him. I need to see Duda. I need to see if he's going to hold up. I need to see Quincy because he's brand new for us. You know, I need to see Cofield, Blake Burris. And so some of that stuff he's just not going to get because I don't need to see that out of him. And, you know, that's one thing. I didn't get to do it last year because we were brand new, but it's another great reason to play here at Texas Tech. We're going to get what you need, but we're going to protect our older players. You know, we're going to make sure they're getting everything they need to get, but we're just not going to bang them and, you know, put them in bad situations.
Coach, could you share just a little bit about your experience being on the basketball search committee and what that was like for you?
I've learned a lot, I've used different things in you know, our staff meeting this morning. Just been really impressed with the committee. Probably minus myself, I'm not the smartest guy in the room for sure, but it's been really good. I'm excited.
Coach, you had Justin Johnson with the staff this offseason. Just what was those conversations like, and what does he bring to the team this year?
Well, the good thing about Juice is he's played in this offense. It's a little bit different, of course, but he caught 87 balls and 90 balls in this offense. So whenever he's talking to those guys, it's not just coaching, but the feel of those routes that we're running. You know, and it was funny. We were walking. He came and we brought him in and we're showing him everything, and he's getting ready to sign his contract, and we're in the offensive staff room and we've got different plays up and different verbiages, and you know, he's like this. I mean, just talking through, hey, this is this, this is this, this is this. So when you bring a guy in that he's played in this system, I mean, he was Cliff's GA at Texas A&M. So you've got a guy that's played in this system, you've got a guy that's coached in this system. He brings a lot of experience. And then he's a guy, you know, he got it whenever he was little. He got the nickname Juice whenever he was little by some of his AAU coaches, but he brings a lot of energy to practice, and excited about him.
Coach, you have a lot of super seniors on the team this year, and just so far throughout this off season and throughout the first day of this practice, how have you seen these super seniors form a bond or a connection with some of the younger guys?
Yeah, you know, that's one thing I tell everybody. I use it a lot in recruiting. We've got a very healthy locker room. I mean, our guys like each other. You know, we're a family. You know, families fight sometimes, but they love each other and they care about each other. And so our old guys have done a great job of coaching the young guys. We talk about it all the time we practice and script everything to where Rabbit gets a certain amount of reps, and these are the reps that he has to get better for us to win. I don't want him to do any more reps. So he's got to help the young guys be prepared to go out there and take reps that, if not, he's going to have to take extra reps. And so then that puts more on him. And so they understand that. And they've got to really bond. You know, we got some really young guys. I mean, we got 3 mid-year freshmen that were getting second team reps, you know, today in the secondary. And so they got to bond quick to help those guys out.
Who was that? Who are those 3 guys?
Chapman, Jordan Sanford, and BJ Jordan.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, great to see you guys. Great to see you guys.